a week ahead in development last time we were
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
they said, either the time
So moved.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, this evening, we do have a public hearing for the expansion of the Colson Group out at Industrial Park. So I will go ahead and open up our public hearing at 7:01 PM. If there is anybody in the gallery that would like to stand and address council in regards to the expansion, you have this opportunity to come forward. Right, seeing none. We are asked to approve resolution 2024-07. And this is to establish the Industrial Development District, otherwise known as IDD. Ms. Ammerman, did you want to come up and give us some information?
Sorry, we need a motion and a second to do the
I'm sorry.
resolution.
Do you have a
So
motion?
moved.
Support.
Floor is yours.
Thank you.
Well, she's going to give us info first.
Thank you. Am I reporting on 2024-07 first? Okay. So the Industrial Development District will include the 15-acre parcel that Colson just recently purchased. And they will be relocating their current location off of Park out to that location eventually after they have finished their work. So this particular resolution helps to create the Industrial Development District, which allows them to also come back later and ask for tax abatements and IFT incentives so that there can be some reduction in taxes over a certain period of time, typically 12 years. That isn't being discussed tonight, but this is the first step toward that. So we would hope that they would then finish their IFT request later. So this creates an industrial development district for new building. And it's within that 15 acres that they have just purchased in the industrial park.
Do we have any questions for Ms. Ammerman on this topic before we go for a vote? Councilman French?
I just have a question about Holston's existing property and what becomes of it. Are they responsible for remediating it or cleaning it up so that it could be redeveloped again?
They would sell that property and they may work with the EDC office to come up with some ideas. So that's what we would do.
Okay, so it's not, the concern is that, you know, Harvard Industries closed, vacated, and then didn't do that. So having some sense of accountability for this company who will remain in Albion, that they would be responsible is just something I'm concerned about. I'm not going to vote no, of course. I think this is
Sure.
great that they're expanding, but I'd like to be able to say that that road, Clark Street, will continue to be viable in the city and that we're not somehow
Absolutely.
hollowing out our parts of our city.
Yep.
Creating industrial blight.
I can tell you that I'm working with them on that,
Okay.
but it would be premature to announce
Okay,
what might happen.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So we have kind of been working on both. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
No, that took mine because I was going to ask whatever they're proposing about approximately how many people would they be hiring? That's what.
Yeah, they will be increasing by about 60 or 65 employees. Almost doubling what their current employment base is.
Anything else? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Waller,
Yes.
French,
Yes,
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2024-08?
Sorry, Mayor, there's another public hearing here on this, on the plant rehabilitation district before we see.
Oh,
There anybody that would like to stand and address council in regards to the Colson Group receiving the plant rehabilitation district out at our industrial park? Seeing no movement, Ms. Zimmerman?
thank you. A plant.
I'm sorry, we need another motion in a second to approve.
So moved.
Support.
Thanks, Colin. Go ahead.
Somebody has to do that job, right? Resolution 2024-08 is to establish a plant rehabilitation district, and you can only do a plant rehabilitation if over 50% of what is currently within those boundaries is considered obsolete. And we had the assessor come out and make that judgment call, so we know that this qualifies as something that can have a rehabilitation IFT down the road. So since we know it can have an IFT, a rehabilitation, it qualifies for a plant rehabilitation district. So what will happen is you just pass the IDD, so anything new would fall under that type of tax incremental incentive. But a plant rehabilitation district is slightly different. One limits the taxable value of the property, and the other one, and I, off the top of my head, can't tell you which one is which, but the other one limits the amount of tax that is collected by using a TIPA. So it's a slightly different style of IFT, and when we bring the IFT forward, we'll actually have numbers and demonstrate what that will be. But this is, again, the first step for them to be able to rehabilitate the current buildings that are already in existence on that property.
So who's in the current property?
So they purchased the property, they purchased the 15 acres, and there are existing buildings.
Right.
So,
Who's in those buildings? Who was in those buildings? before?
oh, this was, Great Lakes water jet,
Yes,
Oh, water.
Great Lakes Water Jet.
Great Lakes water
Water
jet.
closed. Okay.
Right, so they closed, so they'll take, the ceilings may or may not be exactly what they're looking for, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
The expansion may be slightly different, but they'll still want to use the existing buildings.
Sure.
And this covers those called the plant. So the plant that's existing there can be rehabilitated, and we need this district to allow for that too.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? That info?
Thank you.
City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Reed. Yes. Jackson,
Yes.
Waller.
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. So I'll go ahead and close our public hearing at 7:09 PM. Public comment. At this time, if there is anybody in the gallery that would like to stand and address council in regards to an agenda item only, you may do so at this time, and 3 minutes will be given to you. Okay, seeing none. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Support.
City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Jackson,
Yes.
Waller,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. So we will adjourn at 7:10 PM for closed session. into session at 8:38 PM. City Clerk Domingo, will you take roll call for us, please?
Councilmember Jackson.
Yes, I'm here.
Walker,
Here.
French,
Here.
Williams,
Here.
Reed.
Here.
And Mayor Snyder.
Here. In our packets, we have the minutes to our February 20th study session along with the regular council session. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move. Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Do I have a motion to approve of the second reading of the ordinance 2024-01?
So move.
Support.
Attorney Harkness?
So this is the ordinance that we discussed at our last council meeting that modifies the existing fence ordinance. It's a fairly simple change. Basically, we built in a process for properties that exist on a corner lot. It allows for a deviation from the maximum height of 3 feet to an additional 3 feet, so a 6-foot fence, as long as the planning commission finds that extending the height of the fence is not going to pose a danger to the basically public safety. So the idea being, as a vehicle approaches an intersection, as long as that fence won't obstruct the ability of a driver to see cross traffic, the deviation could be allowed by planning commission. So it just builds in a process so that homeowners can seek that exemption as long as it's not going to be dangerous.
Do we have any questions for Attorney Harkness?
No, I mean, Ian's not here. I would just like to, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
I just would like to thank Ian for him. Both of them working on this and getting this done. So that this would help out our citizens, especially the ones that do have the alleyways. So thank you so much.
Any other
Certainly.
Questions or comments? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Lawler,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
And Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2024-09 for the supplemental notice of intent resolution water supply system?
So move.
Support.
Assistant City Manager,
I don't have a whole lot of details in this. I'm trying to read from Haley's notes here.
we had adopted this back in November.
It says notice of intent to issue revenue bonds in the amount not to exceed 300 or 3 million November 9th. Resolution was approved on November 6th. Total bond amount to be paid. Finance acquisition, and I can't read writing, sorry.
Yeah, I can probably. help
Yeah.
a little bit.
Want to help with that because I'm.
So this was prepared by our bond attorney. It's a requirement for the additional bonding as part of the project. There was some additional expense, and because the council had already approved the notice of intent last November, an additional notice of intent is required under state law for the additional bonding. So that's what's before you tonight.
We have questions for either Attorney Harkness or Assistant City Manager. Yep.
So the total loan is 3,171,220. With a cushion of 1.8 million, it appears. Under the combined notices.
City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve of Grant Guidance LLC for our strategic goal setting session for 2024?
So moved.
Support.
City Manager Snyder?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So Greg Buchel, he has offered to come in and handle our next strategic work session for $975. I will send out a few dates that he is available.
Questions or comments? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember French.
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Lawler.
Yes.
And Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve of the proposed 2025 congressional spending projects?
So moved.
Support.
City Manager Snyder?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Including in your packet are three potential projects that we will be submitting for federal appropriation funds for 2025. One is a neighborhood improvement project that includes roadway and water and storm sewer replacement, as well as the revitalization project to the train depot and a public safety initiative. Myself and Assistant Manager Kip met with Senator Stabenow's office on Friday. It's a part of the process. You have to meet with them to kind of present your projects. They give you feedback and make sure that they fall in line with the different funds, and then you receive an access code. They were pleased with the projects that we have brought forward. They did recommend splitting our neighborhood improvement project, separating the road from the infrastructure work. And so we are just asking for approval and for the mayor to provide letters of support.
Do you have questions or comments? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
French.
Yes.
And Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve the HydroCorp residential contract renewal?
So move.
Support.
City Manager Snyder?
Yeah, so this is a contract removal with HydroCorp. They handle our cross connection inspections, which is a requirement of Eagle. Our current contract did expire, so we are just looking to renew that. There are two separate proposals. One is for residential and the other is for non-residential. So for residential, they will do complete 625 initial inspections, and for non-residential, they will complete 104. The attorney's office has reviewed these, and we are recommending approval.
Any questions or comments on this item? Attorney Harkness?
I just so council's aware, in both agreements, the modifications my office made were minimal. They had a kind of a perpetual renewal clause that we modified so that it was just a 2-year agreement subject to renewal upon mutual agreement of the parties. And then we also told them they needed to add in the non-discrimination language required under city ordinance, and they agreed to both of those provisions.
City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
French.
Yeah.
Williams,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve the HydroCorp non-residential contract renewal?
So moved.
Support.
City Manager Snyder?
As I stated, it's just a renewal of our current contract, and they will be responsible for completed, I believe, 104 initial inspections. Recommending approval.
Any questions or comments on this item? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Yes.
And Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve the professional service agreement with Lagoon Services?
So moved.
Support.
City Manager Snyder?
Yeah, so this is with Lagoon Services. It's under the operations of Kent Phillips. He is a retiree of the city. He's worked with our water and wastewater divisions during his time with the city. We reached out to him with the transition in our public works department when we had the issue along North Clark Street, since he knows our system, knows the permits that were granted to that company. He has been a great help with our current acting director as well as our deputy director. And as we are ramping up for our $18 million wastewater project, he's helping just make sure that we are equipped and know what to expect as they are kind of getting used to their new role. So we are looking to retain him for at least 3 months to kind of help with that transition. He has willingly helped us since January. So it's nice to have retirees still around that we can call upon who have the knowledge of our system. So we are recommending approval. Cullen's office has reviewed this as well.
Any questions or comments on this item? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Lawler,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
And Mayor Snyder.
Yes. So I have a motion to approve of the application for Bruce Nelson to the EDC board.
So moved.
Support.
We do have Mr. Nelson with us, so if Mr. Nelson would like to come forth and say a few words, it's totally up to you.
Thank you for considering my application. I think I've been clear to everyone I've talked to, although I haven't talked to everyone, which I should have. I'm applying to be on the EDC to help the EDC, to help Virgie, help the EDC be successful. I think having a strong board will be helpful to get things moving forward, so. I have a background in business development and well connected in the city. So I think I can also help bring people together on some issues as well, because I think it's important that we work together, and I think we're better together. And I also think that we have to include everyone in Albion, which we have said many times, but we really actually need to do that. So that's why I'm applying for DVC, and I appreciate your support.
Yes.
Can we ask him a
Williams.
question?
Mr. Nelson.
Hey, Mr. Nelson,
Yeah,
how are you today?
I'm sorry.
How are you today?
I am good, thank you.
Okay, I see where it says, over 20 years experience as Director of Research and Strategic Planning,
Uh-huh,
for top 100 corporations.
uh-huh.
You've been back in the city for 7 years as well, right?
I grew up here and then I came back down.
Grew up and came back?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've probably seen a economic downturn here in the community and.
No, I got out just before then, but thank you.
Well, coming
I came
back.
back right when it started up again, so.
Right. So a much different place than you left coming back, but,
But I used to come back every year, so I saw it.
Yeah.
For years, yes.
okay. In your role on, the EDC, how do you plan on contributing to, the forward momentum that we have here in the community?
Well, the EDC, as you all know, has an overwhelming list of tasks and task forces and priorities and different kinds of initiative that's involved in. And a lot of the work of an EDC is somewhat prescribed by the fact that there are many of them, and Michigan has a certain standard for these sorts of things. So I think that initially I just need to get as much understanding as I can of all the different projects underway so that I can be a supported player for that. I particularly am also personally interested in getting some of the things that we've talked about over the years in the low income areas going. And I am convinced there is a way to have that kind of development happen. So that's a special interest of mine.
Okay, I see you also mentioned, a strong background in new business opportunity identification and development.
Mhm.
What type of work was that?
I worked for a Sprint Corporation out in Kansas City. And I was in the partnership group. So we were working with channel management and partnerships with the internet companies at the time. This was in the 90s. And then we also started a partnership with Radio Shack, where we put stores in all the Radio Shacks nationwide. So I supervised that program. And so, and then just generally, you're always looking for new business opportunities in a business. So that was part of what I was doing, was with researching ideas, and different kinds of partnerships that we might engage in to build the business. And I worked both in telecommunications and I worked in biotechnology. And before that, I was a teacher and educator. I've done a lot of different things.
At what level was the, education?
I taught at a community college in Flint, Michigan,
Okay. What'd you teach?
writing.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Other questions?
He asked them now.
City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Waller,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Welcome, Mr. Nelson. Do I have a motion to approve authorizing Fahey Schultz to execute stipulation to dismiss a lawsuit of Haas versus the Albion City Council?
So move.
Support.
Attorney Hartness?
So I believe, council members received, communication from, attorneys over at Fahey Schultz. What they've asked the city is to, authorize them to execute a stipulation to dismiss, the pending lawsuit without prejudice. What that means is both sides are agreeing to dismiss the lawsuit. Without prejudice means that hypothetically, the plaintiff could refile it at a later date, but at least for now, the lawsuit would be dismissed.
Questions or comments? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Waller,
Yes.
French.
Yes.
And Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Future agenda items. Anything we would like to see in an upcoming council meeting? Councilman French?
We won't need to approve the meeting with our consultants about the strategic plan. That's gonna be happening supplemental to a regular. Okay, that's all I have.
Did I see you hand come up here?
Yeah. Okay, this that was on our table from John Jenkins. What can we do about this?
Is that
I mean,
an agenda item?
for next time.
So
Never mind.
topic or title for your agenda item would be,
Citizen complaint.
Citizen complaint.
yeah. Any other item? Attorney Harkness.
I mentioned to council that I'm gonna start doing some reviews with council about pertinent statutes affecting council, like the Freedom of Information Act and things like that. I have the first one done and ready to go. I'm just coordinating with the city manager, trying to do it at a meeting when we don't have quite such a full agenda. So the first time we get a light meeting, I'll have that for you guys. It's just didn't want to lay that on you with when council had so much going on.
We don't have no light.
Claiming them.
I did send you all the final feasibility report from the Albion Dams project. So the project engineer with Whiteman and Associates will be here at the next meeting to present that to you all and go over the options that were shared during the public meeting.
Any other topics?
I just have well, it can wait till councilmember comments, so sorry.
Public comment. If there's anybody in the gallery that would like to stand and address council, you may do so at this time.
Thank you. My name is Virgie Ammerman, 305 East Main Street in Homer. And I just wanted to thank you for the addition of Mr. Nelson on the EDC board. And I'm very excited about the potential of continuing to really come together and make a difference for the city. So thank you so much for the addition.
Anybody else like to stand and address council? Okay, city manager report. Okay. Oh, that was public comment.
Oh, sorry. So a copy of my report was laid at the desk. Just a few things I'd like to note. City administration, we met with members of the EDC on Thursday, February 22nd to discuss the proposed new industrial park. It was a good, positive conversation, just making sure that we're all on page and supporting the potential new growth to our community. The city, we have partnered with the Red Cross to provide on-site first aid and CPR training to all city employees so that we are all equipped and have the knowledge to step in if we are ever called on to do so. So the final session I believe will wrap up this Thursday, tomorrow, actually. And then all of city employees have gone through that training. I will be participating in the EDC's economic forecast on Thursday, February 7th. March, sorry, yes, March. March 7th, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Ludington Center, just to speak on the highlights from 2023 and what to expect in 2024. And then I also want to share, I did send an email out to you all this morning, but we were awarded our 2024 appropriations request for the roadway, water and storm sewer improvements to Dean, Hoagland, and North Albion Street. So that is great news. That's in the amount of $4 million. The bill is expected to be formally approved on Friday. So we will wait for guidance and timeline on when to expect those funds. So with the completion of the McIntosh Park Phase 2 project that will be happening this summer, that area will be completely revitalized. We'll have a brand new park space, 2 new parking lots and a brand roads. All the roadways that surround the park space will be completed. So that is great news for precinct 1.
So we'll be able to get wet this summer or not?
What's that?
We'll be able to get wet this summer?
Yes, as we were last year, just depending on when they release those funds, the roadway may be completed in 2025. But Phase 2, which will be the walking path around the perimeter of the park, the second parking lot, landscaping, and things like that will be completed this summer. Councilman French?
Will there be an asphalt driving path circumnavigating the park? Or will it still be on the southeast corner? There's gravel, it's like a dirt road rather than asphalt all the way around.
Oh,
That's the west.
Yeah, Lincoln
Yeah.
Shire to the water.
The northwest.
I'm not sure if that's included in the design, but I can confirm with our
Yeah.
engineer.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's that part between the Jefferson
Yeah.
and the water park.
Yep.
I guess you're right. That is northwest. I don't have a compass.
I got you. Got you covered. Got your back.
Thanks, man.
Always.
That's all I have.
Councilmember comments?
Oh.
Councilman French?
Yeah, I received an email from someone on the end of Linden Avenue. Well, a couple of someones. First one thanking city staff for their rapid response to the sewer issue that was in sort of the Mill Race River area. That repair was amazing and quick. And so that's well done for that team. And the other came from a resident on the other end of Linden wanting to know and get a status update on the signage in Victory Park. There was supposed to be some signage about rules. And they also wanted to let the city know that the new light that sits attached to the maintenance building in Victory Park needs to be re-aimed or shaded because it basically blows right into their house. And so, and it doesn't work. Their shade, it's so bright. It's an LED, I think. And so it's super bright and blue and they can't seem to shade it with their shades. And so they'd like it. Thanks.
Yep. Follow up on the park signage that is included in the Nicola donation that we received through the Community Foundation. With the recent announcements of the different appropriations that have been approved, that is set to be completed Friday as well. So all of the funds will have been secured for that match so that we can move forward with the other projects that have been identified in that donation as well. And then in partnership with EDC, we also did put your town on the map through consumers to bring other help to do signage and wayfinding signs to our community as well.
So hopefully end of summer.
Very soon, yes.
Thank you.
Any other council member comments? Do I have a motion to?
Sorry.
Attorney Harris.
I'm sending council an email right now. I just wanted to let you know, I'm gonna be out of state from March 21st to the 28th. So if you need anything during that time, please feel free to reach out to the Assistant City Attorney Lars Kavari. He's the guy with the really tall hair
And tall person.
and tall person. Yeah. So.
Last one before the baby.
Yes.
Do I have a motion to,
Excuse.
excuse Councilwoman Davis?
So moved.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Support.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned, 9:04 PM.